My project is on NASA's Kennedy Space Center. Pictured here is one of the 700 buildings and facilities that make up the KSC. This is the Vehicle Assembly Building. It is located on Merritt Island, which is off the coast of Florida. The first development they established was the Launch Operations Center in July 1st of 1962, and they continued on to establish the Vehicle Assembly Building as pictured before in 1966. So as I said, it's located on the coast, so it's very susceptible to hurricanes, coastal flooding, and also winds of 10 to 15 miles per hour. And they also had to take that into consideration with the largeness of the buildings in order to hold rockets. Builders like Maxo Urban conducted the process of building, and this is really for something bigger than themselves in light of the space race against the Soviet Union. Kennedy obviously had a big influence on this project. In September 12th of 1962, he gave his "We Choose to Go to the Moon" address. It was a space race response, and this building structure was used as a catalyst to the fulfillment of sending people to space. And in 1963, Kennedy was assassinated, so President Lyndon B. Johnson named the structure after him. To begin the construction process, they had to go through some demolition because there was a lot of trees and sludgy dirt, which really made for an unstable base. So they used false work such as shoring, scaffolding, and formwork because it would be a very tall structure, and the base was very unsteady, so they needed some help there. And they also used a lot of concrete. For transportation, they dredged canals so they could connect to large waterways and bring in materials. They also used semi-trucks and cranes to move things around on land. The materials used were steel, granite, and things like that are very local. So here's a hydraulic crane that they would have probably used. For ventilation and illumination, the buildings across the center vary, but mostly they would rely on artificial lighting and to be in control of that. Similar to the ventilation, they would use AC units to really be in control of temperature and airflow. But in historical times, they would have used windows for the ventilation and illumination, but really those are only for the rich and used more so to flaunt, which would not really be the case here. In the 1700s, Merritt Island would have been under Spain's control, and they also not really even need the facility for America because they don't have access to it, but also they don't need it because space navigation was not a consideration at this time. There would also be a limit on materials and equipment because semi-trucks and hydraulic cranes didn't come into the picture until late 1800s. And so therefore they probably just carry things like bricks or timber or use old cranes and ramps. Failures that led to safety codes for this building were the Champlain Towers and Surfside, which collapsed due to winds and hurricanes, and also the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, which couldn't handle constant wind and swaying. So they knew they needed to really learn from those experiences and make these buildings safe against winds and also the winds of rockets shooting up. Thank you.